So before I get to yip yapping on today's talk, I'm gonna do my morning little health shake, which is not really a full spectrum health shake. It's more of like a digestion and kidney health shake and lipid health shake. So what it is, usually I would do some EAAs in this, but I'm out. I'm almost out, so I don't want to use any. So this is gonna kind of taste like dick. But it's 8 grams of astragalus, however you want to pronounce it. Astragalus really helps with kidney and liver health. A study I read that it can help with your EGFR, which is the measurement of your kidney filtration system, because your kidney filters everything that comes in your body from food, drugs, chemicals, like everything that comes in your body. And I read a study like a couple of days ago, and this is what astragalus helps with, is kidney health, and increase their EGFR by like 10 points. So that's really cool. And then citrus bergamot is really good for lipid health. So cholesterol, everything on a lipid panel. So like cholesterol, ApoB, LDL, HDL, triglycerides, all that kind of thing. So it's 10 grams glutamine, 8 grams of astragalus. I do 1 packet of this salt, which is about 200 grams of sodium. I would do some EAAs, but I'm out. So, not this back. That's disgusting. Oh my gosh. Morning on this fine Thursday morning. It's about 8:30. Lucy, please leave me alone for now. Something I read in my book this morning. It's called, I think I mentioned in the last video, Inner Excellence. It talked about in life, our competition shouldn't be viewed as like someone that we hate. This is something that I've struggled with very much so. And I've only recently, I guess in the past like 2 days, have gained a new perspective on like whether it be people within my field that I'm competing with or it be whatever. I've always felt like I needed to like hate my competition or like I want to beat them so bad or yada yada yada. And the perspective that book taught me is that when you're thinking of that in you have to hate your competition or they're out to get you or you're out to get them, that is a reflection of you only caring about the outcome. Because the only reason that you have the competition in the first place, unless this person like literally did something to you personally, is that you want this XYZ outcome more than you want it. And they also want it. So that's why you deem them as enemy, competition, etc. And that whole perspective like really opened my eyes up, because it's like whenever you're thinking in that outcome based mentality, that is simply a mechanism of protecting and trying to preserve your ego, because you get this outcome, your ego and your aura improves. They don't get it, you look better. They get it, you don't, you look worse. So the outcome-based thinking in anything you do in life is simply a protection mechanism of your ego. When the book and the perspective I developed from the book is you need to, whenever you are just focusing, I've fucking repeated this probably a million times on this channel, but it's just a reoccurring thing that can apply in all aspects of life, is whenever you just focus on performing your best at whatever you're doing, and you love something so much that you want to see the best done in that field. Whenever someone else accomplishes something that is a competitor in your industry, your field, the job you're looking for, the whatever, you should just be happy that it happened. if you love the thing that you're doing so much and you don't care about the outcome. If I look at someone's physique and they have put on 50 pounds of muscle in a year and I've put on 10, whatever. I'm developing the perspective of like, holy shit, that's awesome. That's so fucking cool. Look what they did. Not putting them on a pedestal and not putting myself down, but just I love this thing of bodybuilding so much that I'm just so in awe of that person doing that. And you can apply the same thing. Another example could be, I don't know, if maybe you love archery and I don't know how they measure archery scores, but let's just say that you shoot a 8 out of 10, like a 7 out of 10 day, pretty good day, whatever. And then the person you're competing against, or the person down the row, or whatever, how they do the fucking archery games, they shoot 10 out of 10, bullseye every time. Love archery, and you're not just so focused on the outcome. You're gonna be like, holy shit, that's awesome. That's so cool they did that. That's so amazing. And when you have that perspective, you're able to just share passion with the competitor you have in that field instead of hating them. I don't think that really ever comes any benefit or good from looking down on someone and hating someone within your field. It only brings like stress to your life because, like I said before, what you give to the world is what you're gonna get. So if you in your head you're competing with this person, you hate them, yada yada yada, you're gonna get that feeling back from them, even if they've never thought a single second about you, or care about, or even know who you are. You're going to think they're thinking the same thing about you because that is what you think about them. Oh shit, I need a drink. A little side note, I wonder if any of my neighbors have ever heard me out here talking in the mornings. Kind of hilarious. But it's just, I know this may come off as like, people sometimes will take this idea or perspective, or I've taken into my head, as like, yeah, well, not everyone in your industry or in your field can win. When it's like, the way I look at it is like, not everyone has, not a lot of people even, probably more people don't than do, have some sort of passion they have. Most people that I'm sure you know a lot of, they fucking play League of Legends, they jerk off, they have no routine, they get up, they're late for work, they leave work early, and they just live on this repeat of mediocrity. And that's the majority of the world, to be completely blunt. So I do think that if you have some sort of passion, there's a if you love your passion, if you love what you're doing, you're not just hyper fixated on the outcome. When is the outcome going to come? How am I going to get it? How much is it going to be? Am I going to get it? Yada yada yada. If you just have this passion of loving this thing you do, some kind of result will come of that. It may not be the way that you perceive of what you want, or it may not be what you perceive the outcome will be now. It may be different. It may come in a different form. It may come from a different source, whatever. But when you have a sort of passion like that, I just do think that eventually it will pay off. Only if you're in it for the doing of the thing. Like, just as like an example, like my little business I have going with coaching, I know it's going to work out because I genuinely want to help people. I genuinely want people to achieve their greatest physique, health, mental health, social health, psychological health, spiritual health, whatever. And I know that if I just keep knocking at this year in, year out, day out, it's going to work eventually. The more time you accumulate in a field, the smarter you get, the more you know not to do, yada, yada, yada. And then it works out. But you can only you listening to this probably don't know who Luke Pritchard is, but he's a bodybuilder that I listen to sometimes, and he's like, I'm not that genetically gifted. I just outlasted everyone. I've just been here the longest. And you can only achieve that level of loyalty to your passion if you've gotten into it for the doing of the thing and not for an outcome. You know, it's so sad. A lot of the people that I used to talk to within the fitness space have all like fell off like in 2023. Like all of them have like they don't do anything within social media or bodybuilding or fitness or anything. It's kind of funny to see, and kind of sad to see, which I couldn't care less, to be honest. But it's just, that book's teaching me a lot, man. I think all of you watching this, if you want to get into like reading and like a good self-help book or self-mastery book, that's definitely the first one you need to pick up. And it's like, I like reading in little chunks. I don't like reading like chapters at a time, because like my only time I really like and get to read is in the mornings before I go to work. Like what I do is a little side tangent. Whenever you take a blood pressure reading, it's good to like sit at a desk, back flat, arms flat, feet flat on the floor and sit there for like 5 or 10 minutes, like 5 minutes, and then take your blood pressure reading for like the most accurate reading. So I use that time of kind of like letting my body, you know, neutralize, or however you want to put it. And I read during that time. So what I like reading it chunks, and that book's really good because it'll have like chapters, but then it has chunks within the chapters, so you can read like one big chunk, one big part of the chapter, and then just close the book. And then I'll read before bed to wind down, so I can get into like a good calm state to go to sleep. But if you're looking into a good book about all aspects of, you know, being present, self-mastery, all that kind of stuff, if you're interested in that, Inner Excellence, I'll put a link in the description to like Amazon to buy that book. But it's taught me so many things already, or it's taught me so many things, and I think that's probably the bit I've talked about today, and the chapter I read this morning is probably my favorite thus far. Is bringing love and passion with you to your competition. I think that's really a cool message. And whenever the way he frames it is like, if you're not trying to protect your ego, if you're not worried about the outcome, and you just are sharing this passion and love for something with someone else, that's pretty beautiful. And I think that's a really good takeaway you guys could take from this. You know, your enemy probably has a lot more in common with you than even your family member. You know, some of your family members, I can even speak on this, is like the only thing that we have in common is a little bit of our blood. Besides that, we're polar opposites. And it's like my competition that I deem I don't like the same things I do, obviously. If I had someone who's bodybuilding and maybe they like are at a show I'm at and I hate them, it's like, y'all probably have a lot in common. Like, why would you? They may be like a douchebag, and you know there are those people. I get that, but as far as from a passion and interest standpoint, you probably have a lot more in common with them than half of your friends, half of your family. So it's like, why would you hate them? Why would you deem them as your enemy? You know. But I think you guys can all take something from that. We can all take something from that. Is that just love your enemy. Love your enemy and share your passion with them. And don't try and bring about beef or whatever in an attempt to like protect your ego, because all you care about is the outcome. Is the message on what you guys take from this. But I'm gonna get inside. What time is it? Already 8:30. I'm gonna get inside, do a little bit, and then get my first meal eaten. What I've been doing is I've been fasting on my days off till like 9:30 or 10. It's been nice. And then I feel like I mentioned this on Instagram. I've been doing a caffeine detox, or not detox, but break. It's like during the week, I don't have any caffeine, and on the weekends I'll have one energy drink, and it resensitized me to caffeine like that. And like one energy drink has me bouncing from the time I wake up to the time I lay down. So And I think taking caffeine on like an empty stomach maybe makes it more potent. I don't really know. But I'm gonna get going. I love you guys. More training videos are gonna be coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless, and I'll see you, I don't know when.